Hi guys, thought I'd try something a bit different. This is, well, it's a box. Let's open it up, see what's inside. This is a purchase I made on eBay. It's a broken GBA SP. Cost me £2 plus postage. There's a few other bits and pieces in there, and basically the description was GBA won't power on and won't charge. So I thought I'd give it a bash, see if I could fix it up. It's really nicely packaged, so thanks to the seller for that. And we've got some stuff. Let me check that. Let's get this open. There's a game in here as well, which doesn't save apparently, which is probably just the battery. Could be damaged, but it's probably just the battery. So I can probably fix that. I wasn't really too worried about the game, to be honest. And one of the things I have as an advantage here is I do actually have a working GBA SP and a working charger, so I should be able to suss out pretty quickly whether it's fixable or not. Lovely. Right, okay. It's going to need a good clean. So let's have a look at the game first. That is Sword of Mana. It's got a bit of damage on where the label's been stuck on, but that will come off. And the box is actually in pretty good nick. It's not too bad, I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty good nick. Let's have a quick look at the game. Yeah, and look, it's complete. Bit of water damage, but apart from that, and then the car is there. Doesn't save. Right, okay, cool. Right, we will look at that in the future. Okay, let's have a look at the Game Boy itself. So there's a charger here, which is quite handy to have. It is filthy. Can you see how do people get dirt in there? The connector's really rusty. And actually I'm kind of not surprised this isn't working. I don't know whether the camera's going to focus on that, but the charger's been damaged on the end there, so don't hold out a lot of hope for that. I'll have to have a proper look at that. Let me see if I can just zoom in there. I'll have to have a proper look at that when I get a chance to see if that's fixable. It's fairly rusty as well. It actually looks like it's melted. I don't think you can see on the end there. So that's okay. And then the GBA SP, it's pretty scratched up, but all the bits and pieces are there. The screen's not too bad. It needs a good clean, but I mean that'll work if I can get it working. So power, obviously there is none. Let's quickly try and plug it into a charger that I know works. Hang on one sec. Right, that's what the power connector is supposed to look like. Let's plug it in here. Oh, okay, right. Now, let me see if I can show you that. When I plugged it in initially, the orange light came on and then it went off. And the orange light is supposed to stay on. So I'm guessing there might be a problem either with the battery or with the power connector. So let me unplug that, and let's just try swapping the battery from one that I know does work to see if that'll do anything. So to take the battery compartment off GBA SP, you just need a very small Phillips. I don't suppose you can see that because the screw's back. Let me just go and find one. My little pile of screwdrivers. Let's just take the battery pack off, hopefully. Yep, okay. So yeah, the battery packs come off quite easily. You don't need a complicated screwdriver or anything, which you do for most of the Nintendo stuff. And the question is, can I get the lid off the battery compartment, because it looks like it's stuck on a little bit, but there we go. And that's the battery. I don't know whether you can get replacements for these anymore, but the battery's not burst or anything. It looks like it's all in good nick. The connectors are good, so providing it's not completely hosed, we will see if we can get that working. This is my working GBA SP. I've stripped these down before, so they're actually pretty easy to get into and replace the case, the whole shell. So and you can buy new cases quite simply. So let's just bung the new battery, and we don't need to put the base back on, and see if we can power it up. Okay, nothing. Right, okay, so that's let's just try charger just to make sure there's nothing weird going on there. Let's plug that in and try powering up again. So the battery's charging in the new battery's charging in this one, but still no power. Okay, and actually the orange light's gone out again. So there's obviously some problem with the connection for the power and stuff. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to take the SP apart and have a look at the main board on it to see if I can suss out whether there's been any damage to it. Still, okay, so I will record some more of this when I've got a chance, because at the moment I don't have time to strip this down completely, but I'll record that and show you how it goes. Thanks for watching so far. Cheers. Right, so we're going to strip this GBA SP apart. We need to take the case off, and I can't really remember how much you need to take it apart to get a look at the main board, but we will deal with it step by step. You need one of these. Now, I don't know whether you'll be able to see that, but that is a funny, can you see that? There's a funny Y-shaped screwdriver bit. Now, a lot of Nintendo kit uses these. It's definitely worthwhile having one if you're going to take Nintendo pieces apart. Obviously got trusty knife blade and the Phillips for the battery compartment on the GBA SP. I'll tuck those under there because we won't need them. Battery and ice cube tray. Thank Retro Game Tech for the ice cube tray thing. It is an excellent cheap way of keeping hold of screws. So once you've taken the battery out, there are a couple of obvious screws to take apart. There's one here and one here, so we'll grab those first. Oh, put them in a ice cube compartment. Take this one off as take this one off as well. Okay. Put that in there. Okay, so those two come from the same place. Now, there's external screws in this case here, 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 and here. Now, this case is quite possibly the filthiest piece of gadgetry I've ever had the misfortune to look at. But hopefully we'll be able to get the screws out. So let's just see what goes on there. Okay, at least they're not rusty, which is good. So that's one. Yeah, the whole point of the ice cube tray is to keep the same screws from roughly the same area, and also to give you help with remembering the order you took things apart. And that one's there. Let's just take this apart. So, God, yeah, they're so disgusting. And the last one on the case there. Now, I think to get the case off completely, we might need to take the screen apart. But okay, that might give us a look at the main board. So we had two screws there, one there and one there, on the underside of the battery case and the underside of the cartridge bay there, and then four on the corners. Take that off, and that gives us the bottom half off. Now let's have a quick look at that. Just want to show you how dirty it is. And it's obviously had something damp in it. The space around the shoulder buttons and what have you is quite dirty, and you know it's going to need cleaning up anyway. And one other thing I should point out with these is there's actually a square nut just there, which one of the screws, and that's what holds the battery compartment screw in. So make sure that's in there and don't lose it. It's kind of in there quite tight, but it can fall out. So that's the base. So this is the main board, which is covered in dust. Okay, so we have the over on this side. Which way up is it? Okay, this is the bottom. This is the top. This is the power switch here. It's just a sliding switch that's located in there, so you can just lift that piece out. Bring that in the ice cube tray. You know, we can test that. That feels a little loose. I can't remember how tight that is. I think it feels loose when you've got the switch off, because I think the switch has got markings on it. And then what else have we got here? Well, we've got the largest amount of dirt ever. Let's over here we've got the volume slider, which is attached there, and then obviously we've got the micro switches for the shoulder buttons there, and then we've got the cartridge port here, the main CPU there, and obviously the power up here. Okay, and just taking a quick look at the power connector, let's just try and zoom in on there. There's nothing broken or damaged. It's well fixed to the board, as is the other connector. That's for the Game Link connector, I think that's what it's called. Okay, there's nothing else particularly interesting, but now we're back to Phillips screwdrivers, because it's only on the cases for Nintendo that you need the Y screwdriver. So let's try and lift the main board off if we can. I think we're going to have to be careful here because there's a ribbon which connects the screen. But we'll take these screws out and see where we go. So there's one there, and there's one there, and one there, and you can see them. Oh, don't drop it, especially on our carpet. I'll be able to find it again. Okay, and then the main board should lift off. Now you have to be very careful here because I believe there is a ribbon connector somewhere. So we'll lift this up and we'll just see if we can tip it slightly to suss out what's underneath. Okay, yep. So there's a ribbon cable underneath there which we need to detach now. This is quite fiddly to get apart, and you obviously have to be a bit careful with the ribbon. And I can't remember. I do remember how they go. So I don't know whether you'll be able to see inside there, but this is the ribbon connector. There's a brown connector on the motherboard there, on the main board there, and a white base, right? And actually what it does is it's a very simple catch system, and you just slide up the brown piece on both sides. Let me just turn this over. Oh, one of the buttons has come out. That's fine, you can deal with that. You just slide that up, and then the ribbon cable just slides out. Now I tell you what, it's a pain to get back in, but be really, really careful not to break it, because it is probably the most delicate part of the device. It's kind of cleverly wound inside the hinge as well, so it can be a bit of a pain. Let's just put that button back there, and I'll show you this. So this is obviously the bottom of the main part of the case. This is the rubber section for the arrows, the A and B keys, the start and select keys, and the brightness. And obviously there's the speaker there as well. Okay. Oh, we've dropped a piece off the buttons there. That's the other way around, I think. Okay. Right. Okay. So then this is the bottom of the GBA SP. Sorry about the reflection there. Oh, hang on, we don't need that bit on there. That's for the buttons. Oh, that goes there. That goes there. All these bits are only fit in one place, so you don't need to worry too much about working out where they live. Now then, right. there's a lot of dust on this. I'm going to have to do some investigation with this board to try and find out what's wrong with it. One thing I do know about these is that there are a couple of fuses. There is a fuse over here which is F2, and we'll need to test that to see if that's still legit. And there's another one somewhere, and I can't remember where it is. Let me have a quick look. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. Where is it? Where is F1? It's on there somewhere. We'll have to look that up. But it doesn't look like. Let's just try and scrape off some of this dust. This is really covered in dust quite badly here. Now I wouldn't recommend scraping it with a knife to try and get it off. You want something soft, because otherwise you could go through the traces. And there's a lot of gunk around here which isn't really helping us see what's going on with the power connector. And obviously the power connector's over here. That's the link. But it's the same for the buttons. There's obviously been a lot of ingress of dirt into this. So let's see if we've got a toothbrush just to clean it off with. You have to be quite just gently try and take the dust off so that you can see all the connectors. I wouldn't recommend breathing that in either. Okay. So we can see a little bit better now, and I can't see any obvious loose solders or anything. It may just be the power connector itself that's the problem. I'm just having a look in there to see if I can see if any of the connectors have lifted. They don't look very clean. And that one there, oh no, it's not broken, I don't think. So yeah, you're not going to be able to see that on the camera. You'll have to take my word for it. The connector looks okay. It is pretty filthy. I might have to try and get something in there, like a small cotton bud or something, to try and clean that off. But fundamentally, the board looks good. It doesn't look like anybody's really monkeyed around with it. There's a few pencil markings on here, which does mean that probably somebody's taken it apart at some point. But there's no huge mess, and there's obviously been no problems with the battery itself or with the previous battery, because there's no acid marks or anything. It's just generally dirty. Let's just take the dirt off of here. Get all this. I don't know if you can see all that fluff coming off. Just to clean it up so we know where we are. God, that's a lot of dust. Get off my keyboard. So, okay, next thing to do, I guess, is to try cleaning out that connector. I'm not really quite sure how I'm going to do that. So, I will investigate, probably through the power of YouTube. Let me see if I can focus on that. It's really dirty. You can see the gold connectors. There's 4 at the top, and there's actually one underneath as well. At least one underneath, and there's also some dirt. So maybe it's just that that's causing the problem. I will have a little bit of a poke around in there off camera and see if that helps. I'll be back. So hi guys, I'm back, and I think I've sussed out what's wrong with this GBA SP, but I'm stuck. So if anybody has any idea whether this is fixable or not, I don't know. Basically what I found was that if I took the main board here, connected the battery up, and held it in a particular way, I could get the LED to come on when the power came on. But so I knew there was something damaged or a crack or a loose solder or something, so I resoldered a few components, and didn't really help. And then when I was messing around, because I came to the conclusion that it might be something to do with the switch, which is down here, and I realised on the other side of this board there is a component, and I'm going to just try and zoom in, right underneath the switch, which as you can see I've desoldered, and it is over here, and there's the other piece of it. Now, I don't know what this is. If I can turn it over, you'll see it has a coil of wire in it, which the two contact points are connected to, but I don't know what it is. I'm not the expert on components at all, and I wondered if anybody had any ideas about what this is and whether I can replace it, or whether this board's basically had it. There are two components the same, so very similar. So there's the 0.330 C1D, and this one, which is the broken one, is 0.110. I think. Let's just try and turn. I've got these things are so tiny. Yes, 0.101 C1D, and it fits just here where those loose pads are, underneath the switch on a GBA SP. So, thanks very much for watching, and if you've got any ideas about what this is and whether I can replace it, please feel free to comment or send me a PM. Cheers.